I'm glad to be here today. I'm Nonoka Kuze. I'd like to talk about the Japanese young people today and the connection between the East Asia or our world and them. I work at the Sapporo Center for Gender Equality to support for young women to empower youth and women or organize study sessions on social issues and so on. I would talk about the state of Japanese youth, which I saw through these works. It is said that they have low self-affirmation and lose hope for their own future. And most of them are disappointed in the current state surrounding them. Young people, including myself, were born after the 1990s without knowing Japanese economic boom and have grown up watching many incidents and disasters such as the Great East Japan earthquake and other earthquakes, torrential rains, indiscriminate murder such as 9/11 attacks, and large-scale acts of terrorism that follow. They have already felt hopeless, and besides, COVID-19 pandemics made their future more uncertain, and many youth people have too much on their plates. The majority of youth keep distance from social issues such as poverty, politics, and environmental problems. I think that this is not due to the lack of their knowledge. Certainly, they unwelcome these topics and have not been educated much about them. But more than that, they don't want to get involved in these issues and feel that they can't make a difference by themselves. Last October, the national election was held in Japan, and the policies, mainly in response to the pandemic, became a hot topic in the news every day. In the end, the Liberal Democratic Party remains in power. After the election, I read an online article. It is said that many young people voted for the LDP. The reasons was not because they approved the LDP's policies, but because they want to keep the status quo. The young people who voted for the LDP think society doesn't change in the election anyway. Our voices will not be heard in politics. If that's the case, we might at least hope this current situation won't change now, so that our past effort won't be wasted. Young people in Japan today haven't had any experience that society changed better, so they can't imagine a good future. Furthermore, many youths are suffering from the social system created by adults and are unable to think about their own future. Our center provides a safe place for women. We also work for young women in their teens who have left their homes because of family difficulties, domestic violence, or poverty, and we provide them with a room to stay and the support they need. Last year, the support project for young women called Rinku was started. Then many girls sent messages to ask for help without previous notice. Help, I want to leave home now. And we listened to them on the chat, and some of them cooled it down. However, in several cases, we decided they had to leave their parents at once. If not, they would be in danger. They needed a safety place to stay. In such cases, we tried to find them a way to live independently, but there were many barriers. Under the current Japanese system, public support from the Child Guidance Center is available until the age of 18. At elder ages, they have to work and rent a house on their own. However, until last March, minors under the age of 20 needed the parental consent to sign a contract. Though they wanted to live without their parents, they needed their parents' consent. And many companies employ university graduates. And it's hard for these girls who have not finished high school to find work. When I work with them, I always think why they are still going through so much pain, though they have been running away from the hardships. From this age, the age of adulthood has been lowered to 18 from 20. And some situations have changed better. However, it is pointed out that there are possibilities of being involved in crime. There are lack of law and not enough support. Above all, girls who have been in difficulty from an early age are unable to recognize that they are in trouble and need to ask for help. Finally, these girls are left behind in our society. There's such a difficult situation. However, some young people took action. Since the SDGs were adopted, many people in Japan have been working on. In Sapporo, where I live, many youths think about the future and act. For example, a high school student did research on gender equity in companies. A woman in her 20s set up a community to dialogue between youths. And some students started business to solve social problems rather than to make money. These youths are also disappointed with today's society, but instead of giving up, they are thinking about what they can do now to make the future better. They compare Japan with other countries and get new values and goals, and society is beginning to change little by little. For example, NHK has produced a video on the SDGs, and many newspapers have published features on World Women's Day. Also, more and more people are speaking out when violence, sexual crimes, and human rights issues occur, rather than remaining silent and letting them pass. Recently, it was discovered that sexual violence had occurred in the Japanese film industry. Prominent people, including the actors and the original authors, spoke out against sexual violence, and many citizens supported them. And many people are sending out positive messages in the hope of creating a better world. No one had ever imagined that few years before. In Japan, young people really feel their voices are reflected in society. I often feel helpless, wondering why Japan is so far behind other countries. And I doubt whether what I'm doing is in vain, and whether no one notices our action. At such time, I'm sometimes encouraged by the youth movements in other countries, especially in the East Asia countries. Not long ago, when the Sunflower movement and the Umbrella movement were reported in the media, I was very shocked to see that younger people could influence politics and that it happened in countries so close by. The Hokkaido district of UCCJ, which I belong, is serious about the role of the church in the local community. They are thinking what the church and Christians can do to social issues, and I have learned and thought about such things since I was a teenager. On the other hand, political or religious topics are taboo in schools, workplaces, and communities. It is difficult or takes courage to tell, I am a Christian, to even my close friends. I always wonder if talking about my faith or not political matters makes the distance between I and them. But if I stop there, if we keep silent, nothing will change. I think the war is caused by not knowing the other side and by being convinced that I know what is right. This is how Japan has made a large mistake in the past. In Japan, there is still political conflict with South Korea, China, and other countries, and sometimes hate speech can be seen on social media. Around the world, one justice and another justice are fighting. In such a situation, as Christians or as young activists, what we have to do is to speak up. Meeting other youth at the conference of PCT and UCCJ, or mission training or workshops effected a big change to me. Taiwan, South Korea, Indonesia, Philippines, and China. These countries are no longer the ones I hear about in the news, but they are the ones where my friends live. Whenever I hear about these countries, I wonder how my friends are and what they or the people of the country think about this issue. Then I think of a way to make both sides happy. And I want to extend those changes I experienced to others. Fortunately, in spite of the conflicts between countries, there is a cultural exchange by young people. For better or worse, especially for young people in Japan, politics is disconnected from the sports and culture. Social networking sites also allow information to reach a large number of people. I believe that by knowing the other side, its culture and history, people can be in solidarity, not conflict. Now, I'm working with many people on various issues in Japanese society, including gender equality. When we speak out about the gender equality, we sometimes take bad things and despair at society that remains the same. However, if we don't just look within Japan, but look out to the world, we will find people who are speaking out as well and who have already got the future we envisioned. Whenever we find such people, we say, it's amazing. I'm sure we also can do it, and encourage each other. And some people pay attention to our hopes and actions. I hope that one day youth activists from all over the world can get together face to face to learn and exchange with each other. First of all, I hope I'll continue to work together with you all here today. Thank you very much.